the lifelong effect of not being loved as a child. It is a wound that never fully closes. Imagine a house built without a foundation. From the outside, it might look like every other home on the street. The walls stand straight, the windows are clean, the door opens and shuts just fine. But inside, the floors creak in strange places. The walls shift when the wind blows too hard, and the person living in that house spends their whole life wondering why everything feels so unstable, why the ground beneath their feet never quite feels solid. That is what happens when a child grows up without love. Not the kind of love that shows up in birthday cards or holiday dinners, but the deep, quiet love that says you matter simply because you exist. The love that wraps around you like a blanket and tells you that you are safe in this world. When that kind of love is missing, something inside the child begins to break. And here is the hardest part to understand. Most of these children never realize they are broken. They grow into adults who work hard, smile often, and seem perfectly fine. But underneath all of that effort and all those smiles, there is a question they can never quite answer. A question that follows them through every relationship, every job, every quiet moment alone at night when the world goes still. What did I do wrong? Let us start with what happens inside the mind of a child who does not feel loved. Children are like little scientists. They look at the world around them and try to figure out how things work. When something bad happens, they search for a reason. They need to understand why. And because a child cannot understand that sometimes adults fail, that sometimes parents are broken people who cannot give what they never received themselves, they come to a simple and painful conclusion. If my parents do not love me, it must be my fault. There must be something wrong with me. This belief sinks deep into the heart like a stone dropped into dark water. It settles at the bottom and stays there. It becomes part of who they are, woven into the very fabric of their identity. The child starts to see themselves as someone who is not good enough, not smart enough, not funny enough, not pretty or handsome enough, not worthy of the love they so badly need. This feeling has a name. It is called internalized shame, and it is different from regular shame, the kind you feel when you make a mistake and get caught doing something wrong. Regular shame says, I did something bad. Internalized shame says, I am something bad. It is not about what you did on any particular day. It is about who you are at your very core, in the deepest parts of yourself. And once this belief takes root, it colors everything you see. The child grows up always waiting for people to see the truth about them. They are always bracing for the moment when others will discover how broken they really are inside. They live in constant fear of being found out. Picture a child sitting alone at lunch because they are afraid to approach the other kids. They are not simply shy. They are protecting everyone else from the burden of their company. They believe they are doing others a favor by staying away. Or imagine a teenager who gets straight A's, not because they love learning and find joy in discovery, but because perfection is the only thing that makes them feel safe. They believe if they can just be good enough, smart enough, successful enough, maybe then someone will finally see them as worthy. Maybe then someone will finally love them. But here is the cruel twist that keeps the wound fresh. No amount of success ever fills the hole inside. The child wins the spelling bee and feels nothing but relief that they did not fail. The teenager gets into a good college and immediately starts worrying about failing out. The adult lands the dream job and spends every day terrified that someone will discover they do not deserve it. And still, after all these victories, they feel empty because they are trying to earn something that was supposed to be given freely. Love is not supposed to be a reward for good behavior. It is supposed to be a gift given simply because you exist. And when you grow up without that gift, you spend your whole life trying to buy something that cannot be purchased at any price. This leads us to the masks that unloved children learn to wear just to survive each day. When you believe you are not worthy of love, you develop strategies to protect yourself. These are not conscious choices made after careful thought. They are automatic responses that develop over years of trying to stay safe in an unsafe emotional world. The masks become so familiar that you forget you are wearing them at all. The first mask is the people pleaser. This is the child who learns that the only way to get any positive attention is to make everyone else happy. They become experts at reading the room like a book. They know what mom needs before she asks for it. They can sense when dad is in a bad mood and adjust their behavior accordingly to avoid trouble. They twist themselves into whatever shape will cause the least problems for everyone around them. As adults, these people find it almost impossible to say no. They agree to every request that comes their way. They cancel their own plans to help others at the drop of a hat. They feel guilty for having needs at all, as if wanting something for themselves is a terrible crime. And the worst part is that everyone thinks they are so kind, so generous, so giving and selfless. But inside, they are exhausted beyond words. They are running on empty, while everyone else fills their tanks from the fuel of their efforts. The second mask is the one who needs nobody at all. This is the child who learns early on that depending on others only leads to disappointment and pain. So they shut down their needs entirely, pretending they have none. They become fiercely independent in ways that go beyond healthy self-reliance. They learn to do everything alone, refusing help even when it is freely offered. They build walls so high that nothing can get in, and nothing can get out either. These adults struggle to ask for help even when they are drowning in problems. They push people away before those people can leave on their own terms. They tell themselves they are strong, that they do not need anyone else to be complete. But strength is not the same as fear wearing a disguise. And underneath all that independence is a terrified child who learned long ago that loving someone means getting hurt in the end. The third mask is the false self. This is perhaps the saddest mask of all. This is the child who creates an entirely new person to show the world, burying their authentic self deep underground. They hide their real thoughts, real feelings, and real needs so deep that they eventually forget those parts of themselves exist at all. They become whoever they think others want them to be in every situation. These adults often do not even know who they really are underneath all the performance. They have spent so long playing a role that they have lost touch with their true selves completely. They might be incredibly successful by any measure the world uses. They might have friends and family who adore them, but they feel like a fraud every single day because the person everyone loves is not really them. It is just a character they created to survive childhood, a costume they forgot they were wearing. And all of these masks share one thing in common. They are exhausting to maintain day after day, year after year. Living behind a mask means never truly being seen for who you are. It means carrying around the weight of a false identity, while your true self suffocates underneath, gasping for air. Some people can keep this up for decades, but the weight always catches up eventually, demanding to be set down. Now let us talk about what happens when these unloved children try to form relationships of their own as adults. This is where the damage becomes most visible to the outside world, because relationships require the one thing they never learned how to do safely. They require trust in another person. When you grow up without love, you develop what experts call insecure attachment. Think of attachment like an emotional blueprint or map. It is the guide you use to navigate close relationships with others. A child who is loved consistently develops a secure blueprint. They learn that people are safe, that love is stable, that they deserve to be cared for. But a child who is not loved develops a different kind of map entirely. Their blueprint tells them that love is dangerous, that people will hurt you if you let them close, that you cannot truly rely on anyone but yourself in this world. Some of these children become anxious in their adult relationships. They cling too tightly to their partners and friends. They constantly need reassurance that they are still loved and wanted. They read abandonment into every small thing that happens. Their partner comes home late from work and they are convinced the relationship is ending. Their friend forgets to call back and they wonder what terrible thing they did wrong. They are always waiting for the other shoe to drop on them. Others become avoidant instead, moving in the opposite direction. They keep their partners at a careful distance, never letting them too close. They struggle with intimacy and vulnerability, finding those states uncomfortable and frightening. They might even sabotage good relationships because getting too close feels terrifying in ways they cannot explain. They leave before they can be left. They build walls before walls can be built around them by someone else. And some swing back and forth between both patterns in a confusing dance. They crave closeness desperately, but push it away as soon as they actually get it. They want to be loved more than anything, but do not trust love when it arrives at their door. Their relationships become a confusing pattern of come here and go away that leaves everyone exhausted and hurt and confused. The saddest part is that these patterns usually attract exactly the wrong people into their lives. The anxious attacher often ends up with someone emotionally unavailable, recreating the exact dynamic of their childhood with new players. The avoidant attacher finds partners who need more than they can give, confirming their belief that relationships are too demanding and draining. It is as if they are stuck in a loop, playing out the same painful story again and again with different faces. But the impact of growing up unloved does not stop at relationships alone. It lives in the body too, written into the nervous system itself. When a child feels unsafe over and over again, their nervous system responds to protect them. The body goes into survival mode automatically. It prepares to fight, run, or freeze in the face of danger. And when that stress is constant, when there is no safe person to help regulate those overwhelming feelings, something shifts permanently in how the body operates. Many adults who grew up without love struggle terribly with emotional regulation. Their feelings seem too big, too intense, too wild and uncontrollable. Small frustrations feel like major catastrophes worthy of panic. Minor rejections feel like absolute proof of their worthlessness as human beings. They might explode in anger one moment and shut down completely the next, unable to find any middle ground. Others go the opposite direction entirely. They feel almost nothing at all, as if the volume on their emotions has been turned all the way down. They have learned to mute their inner world so completely that they become numb to everything, good and bad alike. They move through life feeling disconnected from themselves, like they are watching themselves from outside their own body. This is a kind of protection too, a survival strategy. If you cannot feel the pain, it cannot hurt you anymore. Some people swing between both extremes without warning. They are either overwhelmed by feelings that threaten to drown them, or completely cut off from any emotion at all. There is rarely a calm middle ground. The regulated emotional state that others seem to experience naturally feels impossible for them to reach and maintain. And the body remembers what the mind tries desperately to forget. Many people who grew up unloved carry their pain in physical symptoms that doctors cannot fully explain. Headaches that never fully go away no matter what medicine they take. Stomach aches that have no medical explanation despite endless tests. A constant tension in the shoulders or jaw that no massage can release. The body keeps the score, holding on to wounds that words cannot describe. So where does all of this leave us? After painting such a heavy picture of pain, it would be cruel to walk away without offering something more hopeful. Because here is what I believe to be true about these survivors. The same sensitivity that causes so much pain can also become a source of deep wisdom and strength. Think about it this way. A child who grows up without love becomes a master of observation out of pure necessity. They have to be. Their survival depends on reading every small signal in the room, noticing every shift in mood, paying attention to details that others overlook entirely. This is exhausting beyond words, yes, but it also creates something remarkable over time. These children grow into adults who understand pain in a way that others simply cannot access. They feel deeply and notice things others miss. They see the lonely person at the party when everyone else walks right past. They sense when a friend is struggling before anyone else picks up on the signs. They have developed emotional radar that is almost remarkable in its sensitivity and accuracy. And this sensitivity, this deep awareness of human suffering, can be transformed into something beautiful. The person who knows pain most intimately often becomes the one who can offer the most genuine comfort to others. The person who felt invisible as a child often becomes the adult who makes others feel truly seen for the first time. The wound becomes the place where light enters and eventually shines back out. But transformation does not happen automatically without effort. It requires a conscious choice to turn toward the pain rather than running from it forever. It requires grieving what was lost fully and completely. And this is perhaps the hardest part of the whole journey. At some point, the adult who grew up unloved has to face a terrible truth that cannot be avoided any longer. They will never get what they needed as a child. The parent who could not love them properly will likely never change into the parent they deserved. The childhood they should have had was stolen from them and can never be returned. And no amount of success, no perfect relationship, no award or achievement will ever make up for what was missing during those crucial early years. This grief is absolutely staggering in its weight. It feels like it might never end, like it will swallow you whole. Because you are not just mourning a specific event that happened. You are mourning an entire childhood that should have been different. You are mourning the person you might have become if someone had simply loved you well from the start. You are mourning years of unnecessary struggle and pain that did not have to happen at all. But grief, when it is felt fully and allowed to move through you, has a strange way of clearing space for something new. It is like cleaning out a cluttered room that has been gathering dust for decades. It hurts to look at everything you have been storing there. It hurts to decide what to keep and what to let go. But when the room is finally clear, there is space for something new to enter. Attunement. The work of healing from an unloved childhood is the work of becoming your own loving parent at last. It is learning to give yourself what no one else gave you when you needed it most. Speaking to yourself with kindness instead of harsh criticism. Setting healthy boundaries without drowning in guilt. Meeting your own needs without shame. Slowly, carefully, teaching yourself that you deserve love simply because you exist in this world. This is not easy work by any measure. There are no quick fixes or magic solutions. The neural pathways carved by years of pain do not disappear overnight just because you wish them gone, but they can change with time and effort and patience. The brain remains able to change throughout life. New patterns can be built to replace the old ones. Old beliefs can be examined and challenged and eventually released. The story you were told about yourself as a child does not have to be the story that defines the rest of your life. And here is something beautiful that often surprises people on their healing journey. The unloved child who finally learns to love themselves often develops a capacity for love that is truly extraordinary. Having known the darkness so intimately, they do not take light for granted ever again. Having felt the cold for so long, they appreciate warmth in ways that others cannot fully understand. Their love becomes deeper, more conscious, more precious, because they know how easily it can be lost. So if you clicked on this video because something in the title spoke to your own story, I want you to hear this clearly and remember it. What happened to you was not your fault. The child who was not loved was just a child doing their best. They did not fail to earn love. Love was failed to be given to them by people who should have known better. But what happens now is up to you. You can remain trapped in the patterns of the past, or you can begin the slow, hard, beautiful work of healing. You can continue wearing the masks, or you can finally show the world who you really are underneath. You can keep believing the lie that you are unworthy of love, or you can discover the truth that has been waiting for you all along. You are always worthy of love. You are always enough exactly as you are. The problem was never you. If this video resonated with you, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. These conversations matter deeply. They help us all feel less alone in our struggles. If you found value here, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. We explore these deep topics regularly, and there is so much more to discover together. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being brave enough to look at the hard parts of your own story. Take care of yourself.